Call the Thursday, December 2nd, 2021 General Business Reorganization Meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Colleen, will you please call roll?
Ambrose?
Present.
Mr. Blue?
Here.
Mrs. DeSenza?
Here.
Mr. King?
Here.
Mr. Moad? Mr. O'Neill?
Here.
Mr. Ross?
Here.
Mr. Zaritsky?
Here.
Here. There was an executive session this evening at 5:40 for personnel and updates on appeals. And where are we going? To Colleen?
Yeah, we're going to swear in the new members. We're ready, Colin.
Okay, Mr. Ambrose, Ms. Belcastro, Mrs. DeSenza, if you could step and raise your right hand. Mr. Ambrose, Ms. Belcastro, and Mrs. DeSenza, having been elected to the office of School Director for the Central Valley School District, County of Beaver, and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, solemnly swear that you will support, obey, and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of this Commonwealth, and that you will discharge the duties of your office with fidelity. Say I do.
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
Congratulations. Both in front of you.
Go ahead and sign that. Say congratulations.
Congratulations. 4 more years.
Wow.
Okay.
Okay.
You ready to move on?
Want to do public comments on agenda?
Already. You hand this in already?
Okay.
Who do we do this?
Public comments on agenda items.
Nope.
All right. Do you want me to read them?
It's up to you.
I will, but I'm going to take this off to
Sure.
read that. We said last time that we would answer questions that were asked at the previous meeting. So these are the questions from the November 18th meeting. The first question was with regard to the irrigation system that was installed after the original Center Grange building project. Would the district be willing to contribute to replacing/repairing the existing irrigation system? The district will meet with the youth soccer organization leadership once the architects and civil engineers complete their work to determine what it would take to replace and maintain the existing irrigation system. Do you want to add anything else?
I also have been in contact back and forth with the soccer president, Mr. Patton, and left him a message letting him know that we certainly would meet with him once, like I said, the civil engineers and the architects did their work. We had a little bit more information to give.
The second question was, is the gymnasium needed to support full-day kindergarten? The current gymnasium is a shared space between the physical education classes, music classes, and the cafeteria for breakfast and lunch distribution. Currently, breakfast is served to the AM kindergarten students, grades 1 and 2, and lunch is served to grades 1 and 2. The space is also used as a large group space for assemblies as needed. The additional gymnasium space would allow for the physical education and the music classes to have their own classroom spaces, as well as accommodate the additional students for breakfast and the additional grade level kindergarten for lunch.
Ms. Balcastro, I'd like to add something to that too. In talking with the building principal, she felt that she had the opportunity to have that stage available, she would have more programs for the first and second graders. And obviously now if we have kindergarten, all-day kindergarten, she would also have more programs if she had the availability of the stage. And then also having some experience with that. I totally agree with her, especially at that level. There's a lot of programs that not only does this principal would like to have, but the teachers themselves, staff. So that's another reason.
The third question was, can you provide a breakdown of cost of the alternates related to the gymnasium? And the PowerPoint from Crabtree and Robaugh was presented publicly at the November 18th board meeting and is available on the district website. A breakdown of the budget and the alternates are included in the presentation. Anything else to add there? Okay. And the last question was, what are the plans for the new gymnasium? The gymnasium will be utilized by our physical education classes to include the new additional 8 sections of kindergarten. Assemblies could be presented in the additional space as needed. Community youth organizations would utilize the space after hours as in the past and would aid in scheduling for all athletic groups around the district. Anything else?
That's it.
Okay. All right.
I apologize for that.
Okay. So we are going to move into the election of officers. We need to elect a temporary president. So I will now accept nominations for a temporary president.
You do not need a second.
Nope.
All you need is
Mr. O'Neill.
Nominate Mr. Zaretsky.
Okay. Are there any other further nominations?
President,
Okay.
Temporary.
Temporary.
temporary, I'm sorry.
Oh, seeing that there was none, if there are no objections, I declare the nominations closed. Do I have a motion to accept the closing of the nominations?
So moved.
second.
Second.
Mr. Ambrose and Mr. Bloom, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, Mr. Zaretsky.
All right, if you don't mind, may I sit here and do it? All right, we're going to do item B here. We're going to elect a board president. Once again, that the nominations do not require a second. So I'd like to accept nominations for a board president.
I'd like to nominate Donna again for her second.
Okay, we have Ms. Belcastro nominated. Any other nominations? All right. Do I have to make a motion to close the
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion to close nominations. Mr. O'Neill, second.
Second.
Mr. Bloom, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'll vote on
Now,
unanimous vote.
we have our single candidate for president, for Ms. Belcastro. Make a motion.
I can make a motion for unanimous vote.
All right. I'd like to make a motion for unanimous vote.
President.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Congratulations, Ms. Belcastro.
Thank you,
Floor is back yours.
thank you, thank you
You
very
didn't have to
much.
get out of your seat.
I was going to say, I was willing to move and do for the temporary. All right, so moving on, we are going to the election of the vice president. I will now accept nominations for the vice president. Mr. Bloom,
Moment, Mr. Ambrose.
are there any further nominations? I declare the nominations closed. Do I have a motion? Mr. Bloom, second. Mr. Zaritsky, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So since there is only Mr. Ambrose as a nomination,
You don't have to get up out of our chair.
okay, so do I have to do?
All in favor?
All in favor of
unanimous
Mr.
motion?
Ambrose as vice president?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Ambrose. Okay, so now we move down to appoint as a representative, as an alternate to the Beaver Valley Joint School Committee. These terms will expire on December 31st, 2022. Currently, these positions are held by Mr. Ross and Mr. Bloom. I have to take nominations for that?
Yes.
I'll make a motion, they stay the same,
Okay.
if they're still willing to serve.
I'm okay with it.
Second.
Making that motion, Ms.,
Seconded.
okay, second. Mr.
Motion from
okay.
George, second from
Fine.
Joe.
God.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, Mr. Ross and Mr. Bloom. Moving to E is to appoint a representative and an alternate to the Beaver County Career and Technology Center's Joint Operating Committee. These are 3-year terms, will expire on December 31st, 2024. That was currently held by Dr. Eunice and Mr. Zaritsky. Do I have a nomination or appoint?
To nominate Mr. Bloom.
Mr. King nominates Mr. Bloom.
I'll second it. You need a second?
We need a second.
Need two. No, you don't need a second for
I'll
nomination.
need a second, all right.
So, Mr. Bloom, Mr. Zaritsky, are you staying on?
I'm the alternate. Unless somebody else wants that role, I'd be more than willing to pass that
Okay.
on.
Just a motion.
Anyone else? Okay. So,
Move that nominations be closed.
He's moving that the nominations be closed. and Mr.
okay,
Bloom-
thank you.
Mr.
So,
Bloom, Mr. Zaritsky be the folks.
okay, so you're making the closed motion second? Does that need second?
A second.
Mr. Ross? So all in favor of Mr. Bloom and Mr. Zaritsky?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen. Moving on to F, to approve the 2021 mail election ballots for the Beaver Valley Joint School Board and Beaver Valley Joint School Committee and Beaver County Career and Technology Joint School Board. That is the handout. So,
You just need a motion in a second.
So move.
Bloom, Mr. King, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So I ask you, please sign the
Sign all
ballot
the
that's in front of you, front and back, and then give it to Colleen, please.
Okay. We're back to public comments on the agenda items. Okay.
Okay, so before we move on, if you don't mind, I'd like Mr. Malo to update the community with regards to the current situation with the mask mandate.
Okay, as far as the mask mandate is concerned right now, as you all probably know, there was a decision rendered by the Commonwealth Court which held that the mask mandate was improperly imposed because it didn't follow the proper procedure, but it kept the mandate in effect until December the 4th. Basically, the court outlined in that opinion how the governor could pass a new mandate and publish it in the bulletin, which comes out on December 4th. So that would have been one way that the governor could have done this. Or, of course, he could always file an appeal to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. The governor elected to file an appeal to the Pennsylvania Supreme Court. That was done. Since this mandate would be ineffective after December the 4th, they filed an emergency application with the Supreme Court to extend the mandate. The Supreme Court has extended the mandate. That is extended until the court makes a decision on the mandate itself. Now, that's scheduled for argument on December the 8th. And normally the court will not make a ruling from the bench. They will hear arguments. They have briefs submitted to them on an expedited schedule. So then after that, shortly after that, we'll get a decision from the Supreme Court whether or not they want to continue that mandate, which they have the right to do, or not continue the mandate, and they would lift it. And at that point, you'd be going optional, basically, if that's, whatever your health and safety plan says at that point in time, the districts would implement it at that juncture.
So in essence, we're from December 4th now to December 8th for sure. December 8th, the Supreme Court's going to hear it.
Right.
If they react to it, then we'll know by December 8th. If they don't, which is more likely, it will continue on until we get a.
Till we get a
response
decision from the Supreme Court.
Okay.
You know, they could take a day, they could take a month.
Right.
So, you know, there's really no set timeline for a decision to be made on this.
So if and when I hear something differently, I certainly will share that with the community immediately. Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, so we're moving to the board items. A, number 1, to adopt the calendar setting the day, place, and time for school board meetings, both work and voting sessions, as shown on attachment A. Number 2, to designate the Beaver County Times as a newspaper of general circulation for legal advertisement. And number 3, to approve the revision to the 2021-2022 Central Valley School District calendar, which is attachment B.
So moved.
Motion on.
Moved.
Okay.
Second.
Second,
Mr. Ross, Mr. Bloom.
thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just quick comment on that. As far as the school calendar goes, the snow day has been moved from February 7th to February 14th. It's just a snow day being moved. It's because we try to put the snow day in Super Bowl, because on Super Bowl Monday, attendance is terrible across the district. And originally, the Super Bowl was set for one date, and then when they moved the schedule to an additional game, they moved the date of the Super Bowl. So the snow day is going to the Monday after the Super Bowl.
Okay, business items. The following bills and reports are submitted for approval. A, to confirm the November 2021 general fund payments in the amount of $1,526,943.09. That is attachment C. B, confirm November 2021 cafeteria fund payments in the amount of $84,140.57, which is attachment D. Mr. King makes the motion, second, Mrs. DeSenza. All in favor? Opposed?
Right, I have a question on, and I was going to ask Mr. Maley, but he isn't here this evening. Maybe you can answer it for me. Dr. Perry, there's about 14, as I'm looking through, it just jumps out at me, payments for our charters that we have, that we're paying out. Some I didn't even realize, you know, like Reach Cyber, et cetera. But, and I know some of them like July, August, September, like for Baden Charter, 86, rounded off, you know, about $86,000. Lincoln Park's 195,000. Reach Cyber, 23,000. Baden Academy is 29, in October was 29,000. Insight Cyber is 9,000. PA Cyber again is, in October was 43,000. Reach Cyber is about 6,000. Commonwealth Charter, 10,000, 11,000. Agoria Cyber, 2,000. Leadership, 4,000. Cyber Charter, 40,000. Commonwealth, 8,000, but 9,000, I might have rounded off. Leadership, 5,000. 21st Century Cyber, 5,000. Just curious, and I don't know that you know this, but that's what I'm going to ask John. When we do all our cyber and what we're paying for that a year, what do we have invested as taxpayers' money for that in school board, what we okay for? How much is that total for a year?
What's our total cyber out-of-district cost?
All the ones I just, all the ones I just,
Well over $1 million, close to 2. I can get you the exact number.
about 2 million. Okay.
Might be once.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Can I answer that?
Sure.
I think last year, wasn't Dr. Perry about 1.7
Say
million?
1.6, 1.7
What I thought,
last year.
last year.
I'll get you the exact total.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm just curious, because that just jumps out at me when I look at that, you know. And any other question I have, Dr. Perry, is it factual? I see 2 payments to Kelly Services for 25 and 25,000. Is that for 1 year?
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, All right, okay, yeah,
I would say no. That's for subs, that's our subservice. So all the substitutes in the district, we pay Kelly Services for the substitutes. So, and the offset of that for the district is they take on all the Peasers, they take on all of the, workman's comp, they take on all the additional charges. Plus they vet them, they find them, they get them, they track them. So yes, it's definitely, 25,000 is definitely not a year. And,
not a year.
no,
I saw two of them in there.
Probably a month.
yeah, definitely not a year.
I saw two of them in there, and I was just curious on, what the,
We meet as a finance committee on, like, next week. I can get the answers for you.
and from what you know, Dr. Perry, is that more beneficial to us? Is it us to the district if we did that, or
More cost to the district if we did it.
if we would? It would be, okay, that's what I,
Paying an up, don't get me wrong, we're paying an upcharge. The upcharge, we're paying a bit of an upcharge to cover some of the costs for the Peasers and things like that. If you recall, when we hired Kelly Services, we did an entire analysis of what it would cost us not to do it and what it would cost us to do it. And it was a savings for us to have them do it versus us do it.
okay.
I definitely can get you the answer to exactly what we're paying Kelly. I can tell you this, we have a lot of substitutes in the district. We employ 4 or 5 per building that are here every day just to cover absences. So we pay a lot of substitutes.
And even with them doing it, we,
Them doing what we're doing, we still can't cover the amount of people.
that's good, that's what I was gonna ask you, yeah, okay.
So I mean, certainly you're welcome to provide whatever information. I can have the cyber bill final number for you, based on at least where we are to date. And then we could push that out over a, 9-month period of time.
And we as a district, we're doing our best to get these kids back instead of going to these charters?
Yeah, I think we do a pretty good job of it.
Okay.
Exactly. But I'll get you those numbers.
Any other discussion, questions? Okay. All in favor?
I already did that.
We didn't vote on that. Okay. Education items, to approve the following supplemental positions pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. Evan Pinchot, mock trial sponsor, 1,200. Ron Sullivan, mock trial volunteer, nothing. Number 2, to approve an agreement with Global Wordsmiths Language Services to provide interpretation and translation services at a cost of $60 an hour plus mileage from November 19th, 2021 through November 18th, 2022, which is attachment E. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second, Mr. King. Any discussion?
How many students are involved in that?
Mr. Imiller, how many ESL students do we now have on that docket?
Ones that we've tested, ones we are testing, and ones we're monitoring. I think we're up to 53.
53 students, potentially with our English language learner students. You go back 5 years, we probably had 5.
Now, I can tell you on a year-to-year, Nick, we've averaged less than 20.
That's only if we need it. It's not often we need an interpreter.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Athletic items, to approve the following winter sports additions pending receipt, review, and acceptance of all clearances. Boys basketball, Tyler Walker, grade 9, head coach, $1,620. Richard George, volunteer assistant, middle school coach, and nothing. And there's an FYI. Tyler Walker was previously approved as a volunteer assistant middle school basketball coach.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ross, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Personnel items. To approve an FMLA request for an elementary teacher from March 9th, 2022 through June 3rd, 2022. May I have a motion? Mr. Bloom, second. Mrs. DeCenzo. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Finance items. Number one, to approve Resolution 2022-01, authorizing proposed preliminary budget display and advertisement, which can be found on attachment F. Have a motion, Mr. Ambrose, second, Mr. Zaritsky. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
So before we jump to public comment, going back to the finance real quick, and I apologize for jumping in late. So just so everybody remembers, that will allow us to apply for the exceptions. And what we'll do is we'll have a preliminary budget for next month that will have numbers. That does not mean you raise taxes, it just means there's a possibility that we could. And apply for the exceptions, if you apply for the exceptions, or if you plan, potentially, maybe you're going to increase taxes, then you need to do the budget now. So that's why that's being done in January.
Particularly in the areas of special ed and,
Correct.
and PSERS?
Users.
Okay,
But this is what we've done every year,
yeah.
nothing new. Go ahead, I'm sorry, back to
That's
public
okay.
comment.
Public comments.
Yes, I do this time. Bill Spider from Carter Township, and what I'd like to do, I appreciate everything that the board does. And during the last couple of years, I know with my wife and daughter in the education, and you've had a rough couple of years with everything that's going on. And the public should appreciate what you do as a school board, as administration, and as a staff, the teachers. So I just want to make that on record, that we appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. Perry, we're with you.
Just briefly, I know Mr. Dolph mentioned this last meeting that we just finished up with the state police today. They came and evaluated the safety protocols in all of our buildings. I want to thank Mr. Dolph, I want to thank the building principals, Mr. Ferris, Mr. Eimiller, for all being a part of that. They'll come back with a report for us and let us know just what they thought of the safety protocols, things in the district, so on and so forth. It's something we're required to do, and I thought it went really well. So I want to thank Mr. Dolph for taking care of that. Also, just want to wish everybody, I know that we won't meet again until January. Wish everyone a happy holiday, Merry Christmas. Hope you have an opportunity to spend some time with your loved ones. And hopefully we'll be on the other end of COVID, getting closer to being done with all this stuff. So happy holidays.
With that safety thing, obviously, it's just fresh in my mind what's been happening in Wisconsin, et cetera. Do we still have we still have drills? Active shooter? Okay, good.
Sir.
Good.
Yep, we train our students, we train our staff. In fact, we did one to start the year in our, we rotate buildings with our staff each year. So this year we were at, where we do the active shooter, my mind's blank. We were at Todd Lane this year. Last year we did it at the middle school, year before that we did it at the high school. Next year we'll do it at Center Grange, specifically with the staff, and we do them with students too.
You don't do it every school every year.
We don't, well, we do active shooter drills in every school every year. We actually bring in an active shooter into each school on a rotation.
All right.
Actually have the police come, the SWAT team, local authorities. We train the staff on how to handle it. They come through with fake guns. It's quite scary, to be quite honest with you. And that's the stuff we have to, unfortunately, that's the type of stuff we have to expose our staff and teach our students to avoid. Unfortunately. I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Not while the students are
Yeah, we don't do that while the students are here. We don't do the active shooter when the students are here. But we do active shooter drills with the students as if someone was here and this is where they go. Like they're taught how to handle it, what to do.
Okay.
Matter of fact, speaking with the state policeman today, the most recent that just happened, he said that, there were videos within the classrooms and the students were the ones that like barricaded the doors,
I saw that, yeah.
windows, got out. That's because of stuff they've been taught. Hopefully, we don't ever have to practice what we've practiced. So.
Okay, board members, Mr. Zaritsky, I'm going to start with you and just go around.
Welcome, Ms. DeCenzo,
Thanks.
and, the elected board members. It's been, been a pleasure, looking forward to working with you. And that's Dr. Perry's comment. Happy holidays to everybody. We probably won't be seeing each other in January, so.
Mr. Bloom?
I'd like to also welcome Marcia. I'd like to say thank you to the board members for maintaining our continuity. We've done a good job. Thank you to administration, Mary Lou and his staff for guiding us through these uncharted waters, getting us through, and knock on wood, we had no incidents. Let's keep it going. Thank you very much.
Mr. Ross?
A couple good things were just said there by two board members, and I'd also like to welcome, Marcia, we already did, you give her a little hug here, you know. I'd like to welcome you, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it and do a bang-up job for us, and congratulations to, again, you guys being elected to your positions again. I thought before, this past year, you guys did a great job, and I know, you know, Ms. Valcastro, you always were there when you're needed, man. You know, all the committees, you're always there. And I appreciate that. And I'd also like to take this time to congratulate, you know, our football staff, you know, our coach and our staff, his staff, you know, band, cheerleaders, everybody involved with a great, exciting year that we're still having, actually. But for our football team and the players for winning the WPIL for the third time in 3 years. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment, you know. So, and again, happy, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, everybody.
Ms. DeCenzo?
Yes, thank you for welcoming me aboard, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years working with everybody. And I'll see you in January, and have a happy holiday.
Mr. O'Neill?
Merry Christmas to everybody, and a Happy New Year, and welcome to Mrs. DeCenzo, and please forgive me, I'm slow on the uptake. If I call you Nick for a couple months, then you'll understand why.
Okay, Mr. King?
Well, I'd just like to echo everything everybody else said, and congratulations to, and tack on to what Mr. Ross said about the football team, the coaches and everybody. I'd like to send them a letter of commendation to PIL, and hopefully we can send a letter next month for the state. Thank you.
Ambrose?
Once more, I'd like to welcome Ms. DeCenzo.
Thanks.
I know with your finance experience and just the experience in the school itself, I'm sure that's going to pay dividends for us. And welcome aboard. I echo what everybody said about football and everything else. We also thank the administration and Mr. Malo, but more importantly, I got to say, Donna did a bang-up job this year. I mean, you were under fire, great job, and you spent a lot of time up here, so congratulations and thank you.
Thank you.
Increase your pay for next year.
Yes, I was going to say, I do want a raise.
Double it.
I do want a raise.
I think at least a 10% raise.
There you go.
And I do want to welcome Marcia. It's nice to have another female on the
Amen.
here.
I second that.
And thank you for giving me a second term. I appreciate that. I will do my best. And a Merry Christmas to everybody. And let's hope 2022 is a good year. With that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn? Mr. Bloom, second. Mr. Zaritsky, all in favor?
Aye.